For decades, Gabby Hayes was the most beloved grizzled sidekick in Western films. An icon of the frontier whose dadgummit charm and ragged beard became instantly recognizable. Yet despite his fame, Hayes rarely spoke about the people behind the scenes, especially the stars he worked with most often. That changed late in his life, when he finally broke his long silence about one of Hollywood's most respected leading men, Randolph Scott. Their on-screen worlds may have been full of gunfights and dusty trails, but the truth about their off-screen relationship has long been shrouded in mystery. In a rare and revealing interview, Hayes spoke openly, honoring Scott as a true gentleman and revealing the deep respect that shaped their connection. This is the story of Gabby Hayes, the man behind the beard, and the legend of the cowboy who helped shape his career. A humble beginning in the heart of New York. Gabby Hayes was born George Francis Hayes on May 7, 1885, inside the Hayes Hotel in Stannard's, New York, a small hamlet near Wellsville. He was the third of 7 children in a family led by Clark Hayes, a hotelier and oil production manager. Growing up in a busy hotel, Gabby absorbed a constant stream of human stories and personalities, which later became a foundation for his ability to captivate audiences. As a teenager, he showed early versatility, performing in a circus and playing semi-professional baseball, experiences that honed his showmanship and comfort in front of crowds. These early years were far from glamorous, but they taught him the value of hard work and the power of storytelling. Before Hollywood, Gabby was already living the life of a performer, shaped by the rugged realism of small-town America, vaudeville, love, and a return to work. In 1914, Gabby Hayes married Olive Ireland, and together they became a successful vaudeville duo. Their partnership lasted more than 4 decades, until Olive's death in 1957. The couple never had children, but their bond was strong and deeply supportive. Hayes initially retired in his 40s, believing he had done enough. However, the 1929 stock market crash destroyed his financial security, forcing him back into the world of work. That turn of events brought him to Hollywood at the close of the silent film era. With small bit parts and minor supporting roles, Hayes slowly built a career. His breakthrough came after meeting producer T.M. Carr, who cast him in 30 roles over 6 years. That partnership set the stage for a transformation that would define his legacy. Learning to ride and becoming a Western icon, Hayes had no cowboy background and didn't learn to ride until he was in his 40s. Yet once he stepped into the Western genre, he found his true niche. He became famous for portraying grizzled, humorous sidekicks with colorful phrases like "consarn it" and "dadgummit." From 1935 to 1939, he played Windy Halliday alongside Hopalong Cassidy, William Boyd. After a salary dispute with Paramount, Hayes moved to Republic Pictures, where his character was renamed Gabby Whitaker. Between 1939 and 1946, he appeared in over 40 films, often alongside Roy Rogers, 44 times, Gene Autry, 7 times, and Wild Bill Elliott, 14 times. He also worked with John Wayne in 15 films. His popularity soared, and he consistently ranked among the top 10 favorite actors in moviegoer polls. Gabby Hayes wasn't just a sidekick, he was a box office phenomenon. The transition to television and continued success. As Westerns declined in the late 1940s, Hayes transitioned to television. He hosted The Gabby Hayes Show, a Western series that aired from 1950 to 1954 on NBC, with a revival in 1956 on ABC. Sponsored by Quaker Oats, the show featured Hayes introducing episodes while whittling and telling tall tales. His warmth and humor made him a natural host, and the program became a beloved staple for young viewers. Hayes also appeared on Howdy Doody and made numerous guest appearances. He expanded his influence into print with Gabby Hayes' Western Comics, 1948 to 1957, and his name became a symbol of cowboy culture. Even after he retired, his legacy endured through local festivals, tribute rifles, and countless references in popular culture. Hayes had become more than an actor. He was a legend. Tributes and parodies, a legacy that never faded. Gabby Hayes' influence continued long after his retirement. In 1974, Mel Brooks's Blazing Saddles featured a character modeled on Hayes, named Gabby Johnson. The scene was a loving parody of Hayes' trademark rambling speeches and frontier humor. In 1999, Pixar's Toy Story 2 included Stinky Pete the Prospector, a character that clearly referenced Hayes' sidekick persona. Pixar even hinted at the man behind the character, portraying Stinky Pete as intelligent and articulate off-screen, much like Hayes himself, who was known to be well-read and articulate in real life. Johnny Carson also impersonated Hayes on The Tonight Show, paying tribute to his unmistakable voice and mannerisms. These homages prove that Hayes' influence was more than nostalgia. It was cultural, enduring, and deeply recognizable. The man behind the beard, well-loved by communities. Hayes' impact extended beyond entertainment. In Wellsville, New York, he was honored with Gabby Hayes Days from 1983 to 1989, celebrating his legacy with street sales, square dancing, and look-alike contests. Residents and visitors dressed in full Gabby attire, beards, hats, and fringe vests, creating a wholesome celebration of both the actor and small-town Americana. The festival later merged into Wellsville's annual balloon rally, but the spirit of Hayes remained. A street was named Gabby Hayes Lane, and the Gabby Hayes Memorial Trout Fishing Tournament continues to this day. These tributes show that Hayes' legacy wasn't only cinematic, it was personal and communal, deeply rooted in the hearts of everyday Americans. The silent truth. Gabby Hayes speaks about Randolph Scott. For years, fans speculated about Gabby Hayes' relationship with Randolph Scott. They appeared together on screen, but their off-screen bond remained a mystery. In a rare late-life interview, Hayes finally broke his silence. He described Scott as a true gentleman, reserved, introspective, and deeply professional. He wasn't the type to brag or draw attention to himself, Hayes said. He let his work do the talking. Hayes admired Scott's dedication, noting that he approached every role like a stage actor, arriving early, staying late, and helping younger actors feel comfortable. Hayes explained that he hadn't spoken earlier because Scott disliked gossip and valued privacy. Yet with time passing, Hayes felt people deserved to know the real man behind the legend. The most surprising revelation: Scott helped Hayes' career. The most surprising part of Hayes' revelation was his claim that Scott helped shape his career. Hayes said Scott encouraged producers to cast older, eccentric character actors in recurring roles. He knew the West wasn't just about the young gunslingers, Hayes explained. It was about old-timers, settlers, gold panners, the real people. According to Hayes, Scott recognized his talent and made sure others saw it too. Their relationship was built on mutual respect rather than publicity, and Hayes described Scott as a loyal friend with a deep code of honor. "We didn't ride side by side much on screen," Hayes said, "but in spirit, we were always riding the same trail." In speaking honestly about Scott, Hayes finally gave fans the truth they'd waited decades to hear. The final years: grief, health, and a quiet legacy. After Olive Ireland Hayes died in 1957, Gabby was deeply affected. He initially sought solace at his ranch in Toluca Lake, California, but the solitude eventually became difficult. As his health declined, he moved into a 10-unit apartment building he owned, finding community and practical support. In early 1969, he was hospitalized at St. Joseph's Hospital in Burbank for complications related to cardiovascular disease. After weeks of care, he passed away peacefully on February 9, 1969, at age 83. He was buried at Forest Lawn Hollywood Hills Cemetery, among other Hollywood legends. Though he had long retired, Gabby Hayes left behind a legacy that endures. His gruff exterior hiding a heart of gold, and his unforgettable presence shaping the Western genre for generations. Outro: the legend who finally spoke. Gabby Hayes spent his life making others laugh, comforting audiences, and becoming the face of the Western sidekick. But it took decades for him to reveal the truth about one of his most respected co-stars, Randolph Scott. In breaking his silence, Hayes offered a rare glimpse into the loyalty, respect, and quiet professionalism that existed behind the camera. He reminded the world that the greatest legends are not only made on screen, they are shaped by the people who support them. Today, Gabby Hayes remains an icon of American culture, a symbol of loyalty, humor, and the enduring spirit of the Old West. His truth about Randolph Scott stands as a final tribute to a friendship that was as real as the stories they helped tell.